I was having daddy issues, and Sharon didn't address that in her relationship. I didn't realize I was having daddy issues. My daddy beat my mom their entire relationship. But did I think that was something? No. Did I think when I was going through the domestic violence, did I think it was a big deal? It's like, oh no, not a big deal. You know why? Because my mom talked about my dad abusing her. And I know familiar people who's like, yeah, this happened to me. So to me, it's like, oh, we can get past that. That's nothing. And some people say, no, that's something. I was embarrassed of my situation. I was embarrassed of what I was going through. Like, you're 32 years old. You're starting over with two toddlers. My kids are 3 and 4. I'm starting completely over. And at the time, my daughter was 2, so it's 2 and 4. And you are dealing with a child with autism. You got to start completely over from scratch. So for me, it was like, okay, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I talk to? I was so embarrassed. I honestly was. So be transparent. Don't be afraid to speak your truth, because everybody has been in a space like this. No one has had this perfect, lovely, no problem life. I mean, it's just not heard of. I've never heard of anybody having a perfect life. If it wasn't for God, I probably wouldn't even be on this live today, being able to talk about this entire journey, because this is and has been a part. God has been a part of my healing journey this entire time. I mean, that's the first person I went to outside of family. That was my first person. I said, like I said earlier, I asked God why. So in the midst of me asking God why, I continued to pray. I continued to, well, I left church for a while. I probably, because we went to the same church, I left church for a couple of months, to be honest. But within that time frame of leaving church, I attended a different church and I attended a different Bible study, and I stayed in my word. To be honest, I got in my word even more than I've ever been in my word in that time, because I was so angry. And in that time period, I just got in my word and I tried to find scriptures on peace and anger and forgiveness, and downloading different Bible plans that help you out and women who are going through similar things like me. So that's exactly what I did. So I definitely went to God in this process, and I've stayed, at the foot of God in this process.
Mm. Hey man, that's a blessing. Nick Nicole said, yes, yes, I did too. A shameless plug because my wife created a whole Bible study series on not a series, but she started a whole stripping labels card deck that we're actually working with now, that I actually use for the community I have in the morning, for helping you realize who you are in God, instead of what culture and society says. Shameless plug. I heard you say it, and I
I
was,
love those cars. I love it. I'm
yeah.
in the morning group. I
Oh,
wait on it in the morning. Like, okay, time to listen. I love it. I love
oh,
her cars. Let her know that's amazing. If they're available for purchase, I would love to buy to
for
buy them.
sure. For sure. I'll have that linked up in the description. Thanks again for joining our group. We're over 200 members now, so I appreciate your support. Sharon, we all over the place today, but we just kicking it now. Uh, um,
Come with me.
it sounds good. Thanks for the time. I definitely appreciate it. Uh, Let me see. Yo Estoy Cass says, hi, bro. Do you feel any difference being married to a much younger lady? Wow. Yeah, this isn't my interview, but I'll just answer this because he was on there with us. Um, I do feel a little younger because my ex-wife was like 7 years older than me. So there is a difference. My wife, she's my stylist. Like we always joke around. She have my wardrobe ready. She like for me to dress a certain way or whatever. She's like, you're not old. So she's like, let's switch up your wardrobe and all this other stuff. So I kind of had somewhat of a makeover. Um, and this, and she, she's with her being younger, she's like no
Stop.
shade to the ex. She's a little more fun. Like we can vibe on a different level. Like um she's fun. Like we can really do stuff and really enjoy ourselves, opposed to when I was with my ex-wife. It just seems like everything was just crumbling. But that's a different story for a different time. So yes, there is a difference being married to someone 12 years younger. Nick Nicole said, yes, yes. She said, I did too, as far as I think maybe being at the feet of God in this process. Heaven Smile OA says, I pray daily at work, in the car, in my home, over my kids, over my husband, and just for me as an individual, but I feel so empty. What are your
Wow.
thoughts on that, Sharon? So she's covering her
Wow.
family, but she says she feel empty. I don't know if she's in our group, but Heaven Smile OA, join our group so we can, pour into you. But what are your thoughts on that, Sharon?
She's the one after the 20 years, right?
No, she's the one with that has the special needs that work with the older special needs kids.
Okay. So she's not married, or she is, or she
She
feel empty because
she is married, but she just says she's praying for everybody, but she just as an individual, she feels empty.
oh, okay, so this is like an autism mom type of thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, the last time I was on the channel, I had spoke to another woman who said she was going through or feeling similar, if you recall, Sean. She
Yeah.
was saying she felt that same way. And I always tell my moms, my families, my parents, I always say find a community. Just like he said, join our membership with the 200 people plus, because when you have that community, someone pouring into you, it will fill you up. All of us have been in a place where we're at an empty cup. We're empty. I mean, we were empty. And I just learned that at Bible study, God was in a place where he was like, take this cup from me. He was telling his father, take this cup from me. Jesus was saying, take this cup from me. Sometimes everyone, not even sometimes, everyone has been in a place where you're functioning on an empty cup. You're functioning at a low level, feeling empty, feeling like, how do I wake up in the morning? How do I keep going? Um, you got to be in that community, whether it's just a group of people that you can relate to. Me, I can relate to you. I'm a mom. Sean, he helps us out with the cards his wife created. I mean, there's so many groups, and right now we have social media platforms. I mean, you can meet people in 5, 10, 15 different states, and you can have a relationship with them, whether it's joining a ladies group, whether it's joining an autism group. I am located in Florida, and I have a ladies group, and we meet up monthly, and once a month, we do something that a group of girls can come together and do something. Some days it's like crazy fun, some days it's relax and chill, but we're able to vent, we're able to talk, we're able to let our feelings out, whether it's about relationships, finances, clothing, attire. Even if you were to get a relationship with your hairstylist or your makeup artist. I mean, I have a relationship with all mine because, as you guys can see, I don't have a problem talking and communicating. I love to talk and I communicate my feelings. Just like you're empty, there's somebody else who's empty, but they may not be communicating. They may be holding it in. And you're letting it out, and that's how you build that community. You get to know me, you get to know Sean, you get to know a lot of us. And even if it's just a DM, that DM turns into a text message, which becomes a long distance friend that you guys meet once a year. You come to Florida, I come to Texas, and that's because I definitely plan to come to Sean's event or anything that he does in Texas. I don't mind. I'm ready to venture out and meet my friends, outside of Florida. So we're gonna be praying for you.
Yeah.
But like I said, God was working at an empty cup before too. Like, take this cup from me. We've all been in that place before. But what you have to do is find that community of friends. They don't have to be family. Just find that community. And I promise to you, the cup will slowly begin to fill, because you're gonna find yourself. You're gonna start going places and doing things. And I'm sorry that you're in that space right now, because I remember being in that space, and it's just so much that I had to do to get myself out. And
That's
those were that I did.
that's good. Thanks for sharing that, Sharon. Because
You're
Nick
welcome.
Cole, she says, talking to Heaven. she's talking to heaven. She said, it takes a community and the right group of people, just like you're saying. She said, you need someone to pour in you, just like you were saying. And Heaven Smile Away said, this is what I needed to hear. I'm so glad I decided to join this live today. I needed this so bad. So
Good.
that's, yeah, right. So
Yeah.
you just never know, right? I mean, here it is. We, in different states and able to make a connection. And through Heaven's transparency, she was able to be helped.
Yeah. That's amazing. Then be transparent. I think we told somebody else that in the past. Be transparent. Let people know what you're going through. Like me, I was so afraid because it's like I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of my situation. I was embarrassed of what I was going through. Like you're 30, you're 30 2 years old. You're starting over with two toddlers. My kids are 3 and 4. I'm starting completely over. And at the time my daughter was 2, so it's 2 and 4. And you are dealing with a child with autism. You got to start completely over from scratch. So for me, it was like, okay, where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? I was so embarrassed. I honestly was. So be transparent. Don't be afraid to speak your truth because everybody has been in a space like this. No one has had this perfect, lovely, no problem life. I mean, it's just not heard of. I've never heard of anybody having a perfect life.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. Uh Heaven Smile said, thanks, prayers answered. Thank you so much. And Nick Nicole said, she said, send me a friend request. Making new friends is always fun. I normally don't do much on social media, but I just had a feeling today. And so they just having a whole conversation right here on the live. Like this is cool.
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, right. I mean, and they, yeah, and your story cast, he says, thanks for the answer. He asked me about being married to a younger woman. He says, texting from the UK, by the way, going through a divorce
Wow.
too after 9 years of being married. The process has lingered for almost 3 years now. Not sure if I should do marriage again. What are your thoughts, Sharon?
Always think of doing it again. Think of giving it another chance. Think of we're not exempt from suffering. We're not exempt for struggles. We're not exempt for pain. We're not exempt for things going wrong. But what I can give you the truth about is there's hope. There's hope. Hope is the only thing that gets us to the next day, get us to the next process, get us through because for example, you said it's been a long 3 years. Sweetheart, there's somebody out there that's gonna love you. They're gonna value you. They're gonna feel like you're worthy. And you're gonna say, God, I know why I went through this. God, I know why I had to go through this because this person was destined for me. You're gonna feel like this was the person God created divinely for you. And sometimes we do things, and this is not you know, my story because I honestly don't know my story yet. But I do believe sometimes we do things without God's permission. I honestly think we do things without God say so. For example, we move how we want to move. We do what we want to do. So sometimes we get in a relationship and we already saw those red flags. We get married and we didn't even have a covering over our marriage. Sometimes marriages fail or relationships fail because we didn't have that foundation. We didn't this African American community, I don't know where you're from or what, your demographics are, but I know for me and my culture, we have so much trauma we don't even dig up. We don't even talk about. We just say, oh, I like you, you like me, I love you, and then we get married. We don't even think of the foundation. How was his father? Did his father abuse his mother? Or what was his mother outlook on marriage? Like we don't know. We don't know, did she believe in submissiveness to her husband, cooking, cleaning? Everything is different now, but you need to get to the root, to that foundation. And I had to learn that in the process of doing counseling, in the process of doing therapy and marriage counseling, because they talk to you about that, that bottom, that core, where you start from and then you build off of. So
Yeah.
it still tells me sometimes you do things without permission. You're just feeling that feeling in your heart and you're like, hey, I want to get married. I'm ready. And sometimes you're not ready. I don't even know if I was honestly ready. You know what I mean? I want to be a wife, but how do I know I was ready? It's a lot of things that I need to work on. Sharon needs to work on. There's a lot of things that, your significant other or your ex or your ex fiance or ex wife needs to work on. You just have to come to a place where you admit that to yourself and seek the help that you need. I was having daddy issues, and Sharon didn't address that in her relationship. I didn't realize I was having daddy issues. My daddy beat my mom their entire relationship. But did I think that was something? No. Did I think when I was going through the domestic violence, did I think it was a big deal? It's like, oh no, not a big deal. You know why? Because my mom talked about my dad abusing her. And I know familiar people who's like, yeah, this happened to me. So to me, it's like, oh, we can get past that. That's nothing. And some people say, no, that's something. So
Yeah.
it's all about what you're willing to take. But the truth is, there's somebody out there. Do not give up. I'm not giving up. I'm a wife. I am a wife. I
That's
am
right.
not gonna give up hope. I'm not gonna stop believing that one day I'm gonna be walking down someone's aisle. I'm never gonna stop believing that. I was insecure. I did feel ugly. I did feel why me, but I built myself back up, and I do believe I'm gonna be someone's wife. I do believe I'm gonna be walking down the aisle and he's gonna be crying tears because he sees me. So I'm not gonna give up hope, and I don't think you should either.
Yeah, I agree. Because I was 24 when I first got married, and it was I I don't recommend getting married at 24. Because my ex-wife was 30 at the time, and she already had a 12-year-old son. So I was raising somebody half my age. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. So and the funny thing is, to this day, me and him we still talk to each other. We still text. Hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. Like we still check. Like we're good. We're still cool. Post divorce,
Mhm.
you know. So I'm grateful for that. I guess we totally got off track. Um
I
I
don't think so. Good.
huh?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, we're
We're on
good.
track.
Okay. You're a stoic cast. He says, I've been mentally tortured by my ex alienating me from my 11-year-old son. My ex has obviously moved on and had another son from another man, even while the divorce isn't finalized.
I'm
So
so sorry.
yeah, that's it's gotta be tough going through that process. Because there's a lot of people who once the divorce doesn't have to be final, because a lot of times people, once they separate, the paperwork takes forever, and people move on with their lives, you know.
And
So
to be honest, 100% transparent with you guys, and I probably have barely ever shared this with anybody. When I met the father of my kids, he was married. I did not know he was married.
mm,
He got a divorce after my second child.
mm,
It was not even fast and immediate because I never knew. I
yeah,
never knew.
yeah,
He was just gonna, I had kids with a married man.
mm,
And this is so crazy, and I can't even believe I'm saying it, but wow, it feels so crazy that I'm saying this. I did.
yeah,
I did not know that I was in a relationship with a married man.
yeah, yeah.
And he because he got married at 19.
Mm, yeah, I mean, when my wife and I we got together, like the divorce, the paperwork, the ink wasn't even dry when I was talking to my wife, because my ex-wife took so long to file the paperwork. Took forever. Like she just refused to sign this paperwork. Even before I met my wife, even before I remarried, I was trying to get this paperwork signed, and she just refused to just sign the papers. And eventually she did. But that's one of those things where sometimes people they just either don't want you to move on or they just don't believe that I'm actually going
Marriage.
through this, that it's actually
Yeah.
over. And the amount of money that I spent to try to get her to sign these papers, we're not going to even get into that. That's
That's another story. Wow.
yeah, that's another story. So yeah. What was I about to say? Oh my God, I kind of got off track. Um, I
You
guess
had a question for me?
yeah. I want to ask you, um, how important is forgiveness in order to have closure on a relationship?
I think for me, I think forgiveness is the ultimate. That's the first thing we have to do is forgive. I mean, I know we can't move on. We cannot, heal without forgiving. And like I said, I'm at the foot of God. So I'm always praying. I'm always trying to figure this out. I'm in Bible study. I'm around a group of women that are teaching me. But the truth is, I had to forgive before I even can accept, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I forgave before. I still have my angry moments where I'm like, I hate you, I regret I ever met you, but I had to forgive him because the truth is, now at 33 years old, 7 months later, this is still quite fresh. I do believe that he just needs help. I do. So how can I be, so angry and upset and have so much hate against a person that needs some help? I told you I needed help. I had to figure myself out. I'm still figuring myself out to the point since this happened. I've been reaching out to my father. I've been calling my dad. Like, I've been soul searching, saying, "Hey, Sharon, this is something that I'm impulsive. And if I feel like I'm right, I'm right. If I feel like I like this color, it's this color. There's no negotiating with me."
Mhm.
So I've wrote down things that I know in the future, needs to be negotiated, needs to be discussed, prior to taking it serious with anybody else. Because the truth is, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Just like I know he needs help, I know I need help. And
Mhm.
I'm in that space right now where I'm like, okay, Sharon, you should have did this. Sharon, you never even tried to talk about it. I take accountability for my actions.
Yeah.
How can I be mad if I realize nobody's to blame?
Mhm.
Yeah, this person may did this person may, did the worst part, but the truth is, I have a lot of things I need to work on too. Just like I said, I didn't know if I was ready to be a wife. I just know I want to be a wife. I've never saw a wife or really got to know one. My mom, I wasn't raised in a household with both parents, so that whole wifey role was just, what you see on TV. He's mine, I'm his, and this is how it's gonna be forever. I didn't know, all the components, and I still don't know all the components.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's so many layers of what needs to be done, but I think forgiveness is the first one. I definitely think forgiveness is the first one.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Nick Nicole said forgiveness is definitely a part of healing. Totally agree. Because marriage, um, and I've learned this over years, is marriage is just this mirror.
Mhm.
Marriage just shows you who you are. Your spouse is just holding up this mirror, and you're looking at yourself like, oh, I need help here. Oh, I need help there. you know there's so many things, even with me remarrying, and as much I've learned so much from my first marriage, gotten so much better in different areas. But now even in this remarriage, I'm like, oh, there's still things that I have to work on. Still, like I don't, I think we have this idea of perfection, like we're gonna just get to this spot in life where we won't have any issues. But if that's the case, then it's gonna, time for us, for Jesus to call us home. It's like nobody's perfect. Um, and that's why we need his grace, right? That's why we need Jesus, because we fall short of the glory of God. It's really about having someone who can show you grace, Grace and space.
That
Yeah,
is good. And I love what you said about the mirror because you don't know yourself until somebody's complaining to you about what you've done or who you've been or the things you've said. Like you say things in words. We always say, oh, words don't matter. Words matter.
they do.
Until you're the person that they saying it to, you don't really think it matters, but it does because I was always the one to say hurtful, mean things because it's like in the moment I'm mad. In the
Mhm.
moment, I know this will hurt your feelings, but then it's like when you think about it, it's like, wow, did you just say that to me?
Yeah,
Because you can't take what you do. Just like you said, the mirror thing, just like um, it's a lot of things I didn't think I was capable of until being alone. Like for example, I'm alone. I'm home. Well, since the last interview, I said,
yeah.
I'm home alone. Like I am alone. I'm alone so much. I've never been alone. I've never had this space to myself. I've never been alone. It's constantly we're every day, 6 whole years, we were together. We were in the house together. And I've never been alone. I never just got a chance to like just reevaluate me, get to know me. I'm learning me just by being in my space alone every single day and literally what I'm capable of because I never thought I could start over by myself, my own place. I'm doing every single thing by myself. I'm like, I really pay these bills by myself. I pay every single one of my bills alone.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like coming from being in a relationship, you're not doing things alone when you're in a relationship, or I don't expect anybody to be doing things alone. But in my relationship, I never did anything alone. Bills, that was the least of my worries. That was one thing I never really worried about.
Yeah.
Bills or financial things, that was all for him. That was all, that was his, main thing was finances and keeping up with our finances. So for me to start keeping up with my own finances and managing my money, it was like, God, I really, I really got to do this by myself. We don't have an agreement where I get funds or child support, none of that, nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like learning what I'm capable of for a while now. I mean, it's not been that long, but for 6 months, I've been doing it all by myself. And it does make me feel another sense of confidence. I do feel like a super mom. I do feel like, okay, Sharon, you got this. That's another part of my growth.
Yeah.
I'm able to manage myself. I'm not sloppy with my money as I used to be. And now I think before I do stuff because I don't have anybody to fall back on. Of
Mm,
course, I do have my sister, but I don't have that. Okay, babe, I spent my whole entire check.
yeah.
I still knew I had a roof over my head,
Yeah.
but now it's like, Sharon, if you don't pay these bills, they won't get paid. So now I see myself and I am proud of myself.
Mm, I
I feel powerful. I do.
I love it. No, that's huge because most millennials, I was reading a stat not too long ago about I think it's like I can't remember the number, but it was a huge majority of um millennials who went to live back home with their parents just because of the cost of living. Um, you know. Um God could be refining you with your finances, like you said, can really help you be that much more of a steward with the money that you've been entrusted with.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like God's saying, like, I can't give you more if you can't manage what you already have. I can't give you what I have for you because I got a strong, sneaky suspicion that this year coming up, 2025, is my year of like favor. I know not only with me and my kids, but also with people,
Mhm.
networking, getting to know people, getting in rooms, talking about my business, helping parents, helping women going through what I'm going through. I truly, truly feel with all my heart this is going to be a year of favor coming up. I feel like I'm going to be able to speak to so many women and help so many women and be able to help so many people, or not even just women, people battling and navigating through autism. So I do think that this will be my year where I'm starting to step into new rooms, meet new people, And like, branch off and not be so in a bubble. I definitely believe this is going to happen for me. And I am grateful for, I mean, like I always say, I'm grateful for my season because this season is making me a beast. It's making me, it's making me a beast.
Oh
It
yeah.
is.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So you just in that preparation stage and God works all things together, right? Um, so
We de-
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing like the next season of your life, you know?
Me too. I'm excited. I got, how Tasha Cobb say, getting ready to see something I've never seen.
Yeah, yeah.
And this song is always on my mind. Like, get ready to see something I've never seen. I've never seen myself in this setting,
Mhm,
space alone because before him, I didn't have kids. So
mhm.
it was like me, the party girl, Sharon, always having fun, Sharon, always hanging out. So having kids humbled me. My kids changed me. I mean, once I realized, like, hey, you're a mom. You can't do this. You can't go here. You can't be around these type of people because everything I do was centered around being a mom now. So I can only imagine being a mom, a single mom. I've never been a single mom.
Yeah,
My whole entire, raising children was with a partner. So now that I'm a single mom, this is a whole new ball game for me. These last 6 months, with me, just me and my kids, is nobody cooking them dinners, nobody cleaning up after them when I just came from that. So it's like you cook, you clean, you wash, you take them to school, you pick them up. So for me, that's
yeah.
my everyday and we do have split custody. So that's my everyday when they're with me.
Mhm.
So it's like when they're with me, they're just with me. No one's saying, yeah, of course, my sister, my mom, but no one's saying, hey, let me make sure I cook tonight. No, let me make sure I wash and iron their clothes. But when I was in a two-parent home, when they were in a two-parent home, it would be, okay, you take them a bath, I put on the pajamas. You're cooking, I'm sweeping. So it was always together. Now it's like, I'm cooking, but I'm making sure I'm cleaning up at the same time.
Yeah,
Or I'm running the bath water, but I'm also getting the pajamas out. So for me, it's just like constantly, you're doing this, you're doing it. You don't even know, like I just said before, you don't even know what you're capable of until you put in that situation. I
yeah,
never thought I can do it by myself. And I even used to tell him, I am so grateful for you because I could never do this by myself. I always told him that. I always told him that, like, I cannot do this by myself because it's draining.
yeah,
But now I'm doing it by myself. I'm doing it by myself.
yeah. Hey man, that's the grace of God. I mean, like I
It
say, he's
is.
just refining you and everything is gonna work out because it's just that process of raising those kids, doing everything on your own. Never thought you probably thought you seen yourself doing this, but God is faithful carrying you through, right? So
He's definitely getting me through. He's being my comforter. He's
mm,
being my comforter. And for your viewer who says she's feeling empty, God is a comforter. I just wanted, I don't know why, but I guess I was supposed to tell you this. God is a comforter. When I was crying and I didn't understand and I was upset, He comforted me. I mean, no one was holding me every night. I wasn't being held that night. I wasn't, drinking, and I did not drink.
yeah,
I did not smoke. I did not resort to drugs, which I'm not saying, anybody, bashed anybody for that, but I didn't. I didn't resort to try something new. I didn't party and go out because I know that's what I used to do to keep my mind off things. I didn't do none of that. So
yeah,
God became my comforter immediately. He became my comforter really fast. He was like, I got you, girl.
yeah,
I'm crying, I'm mad, I'm upset. But he was like, even the process of us sharing my kids. So for the time period they're not with me, I was losing it. I was upset. I've never, of course, unless I was on vacation, I've never been without my kids for days and days at a time, but I don't even see them. So it's like, it's not like me and him bump heads and I see him. I don't even see them. So I had to tell God, like, what am I going to do? I want to see my kids every single day. Every day I wanted to see them. And it was like, how? How could you do that? He has his time and you have your time. So that was the most difficult part of this process
yeah,
is my kids adjust to it.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, because there was a lady I interviewed the other day, a part of the autism series. And I asked her what was some of her self-care things that she would do for herself. And she said, I would schedule my meltdowns. She said, whenever the kids are going with their dad, because they got it arranged where the kids will stay with their dad for the summer. So she have 2 months to herself. So she's
Okay.
like, I can schedule that. My self-care is scheduling my meltdowns. I know when the summer comes, they can leave and I can
I,
just,
uh,
yeah. So I thought that was interesting. There was a lot of these questions, even just with us talking, so many questions that you already answered. Um, I was going to ask you, how do you discover your sense of self after this relationship?
could you elaborate more what you mean, like
Yeah,
sense of self?
like how do you, because when you're in a relationship, your identity is somewhat kind of caught up in this person. But
Mm.
like who is Sharon now outside of this relationship?
It's so crazy because this is something that I know was a problem. Sharon is kind of selfish.
Mhm.
It's always been who I am now. I am the same person I've always been. I've always been the planner. I've always been the focused one. I've always been strategic. I always know this is how it's going to go. This is where we're going. This is how it's going to be. Like, I never changed. Who I am is who I've always been. I've always been the girl who ran her organization. I always been the girl who taught. I've been teaching for years. I have always been the girl who manages, my life. I manage our life.
Yeah.
So I never changed. I'm still the same exact person, which makes me know I was selfish because I can't really say he had much say so over everything we did or how our life went. That's how I can kind of say that's what me, taking accountability. That's how I know I have a lot to work on because it was always what Sharon needed to be done, what Sharon felt was mandatory to be done. So the person I was in a relationship, I'm that person today. I'm still sharing, focused on sharing with Sharon. My events haven't stopped.
Mhm.
My days haven't stopped. I work even harder, to be honest with you. And I always worked hard. I always been a hard worker. I always been dedicated to my students and teaching, finding, solutions to help parents navigating the autism spectrum. So I have always been who I am. I've always been a person who takes their kids out, try new spots, go on vacation. I'm still that person. Nothing has stopped. And that's kind of crazy because I feel like, wow, Sharon, like it was all about a lot of things was about you and what you wanted. So I can't say I'm still the same person. The only thing that I do different is I have a lot of me time.
Yeah.
I have a lot of time. But like I said, I have a community of ladies. I have my own ladies group. I've always had this. I had this for probably 2 years now, 2 or 3 years now. So I've always went out. I've always dressed up. I've always had self-care days. I've always been into me.
Yeah.
I've always loved on me. Whether it's hair, makeup, nails, vacation, I've always done it.
Yeah.
So I'm still the same person.
Mm. All right. And that's rare because a lot of times especially with women, right? A lot of times women lose themselves. They go through this whole process of I've given you all of me. Like I don't even know who I am anymore. So it's this whole recovery process of always
I
giving.
mean, the change is different. The change is different because it's a routine. We have a routine. We have a set schedule. But the truth is, I didn't lose myself. I lost a lot of things like self-worth, self-value, self-respect. Things that I said I'll never tolerate, I was tolerating. A
Yeah.
lot of things that I tell other girls, girl, do not allow it. I was allowing it. So with that being said, I didn't lose myself. I lost a lot of things within myself,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I did lose a lot of self confidence, a lot of self esteem. I lost myself in the midst of saying, no, 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 that's fine. That's fine. I was accommodating the things that I knew I wasn't okay with. I was placating the things that I knew was a no for me. I was making it a negotiable.
Yeah.
My non-negotiables were negotiable. Like, okay, I'm talking to a woman, I'm texting a woman, I'm complimenting a woman, but you barely compliment me. Like the hey beautiful, but I never got a hey beautiful.
Mhm.
Or the hey, or the messages at 6:30. I wasn't receiving messages at 6:30. Or the visits on lunch break, I wasn't receiving that, but I would notice that was going on. So it was like I was losing myself in that aspect. Like, Sharon, you see this going on, and you just allowing it. I was allowing it. I was allowing it because I didn't want to be a single mother. I didn't want to, and I know that this may sound, a little bit, you know, biased, but I didn't want to be a single Black mother.
I understand.
I just didn't.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a single Black mom. So I was like, I'm gonna go, we're gonna ride till the wheels fall off, we're gonna pray through this. This gonna work.
Yeah.
This is gonna work. So for me, it was just like, God, you gonna fix him. I was so busy trying to fix him. I wasn't even, I was just trying to change. Okay, you're gonna fix this, gonna work. You're gonna do better. I was, oh baby, I know that was a mistake. I know you ain't mean to text that girl and meet up with her.
Yeah.
When I knew deep down inside, like, Sharon, this don't make sense. I know you're lying to yourself. So that's the part I lost. I
God.
lost that self-worth and self-confidence. I started to feel, not beautiful, not pretty. And then I was always thinking about my weight and my body. So that was something. But me, I always had my mojo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't, I kept my mojo.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Wow. So as we get ready to end the show, what does life look like for Sharon a year from today?
Ooh, I would not know. I do not know what my life would look like. I think I'm going to have a business that has helped so many people, so many. I think sharing with Sharon, because those are two different people live. I always say that sharing with Sharon is a community that I created just to help people in the autism world any way possible. But Sharon as a mother, Sharon as an educator, Sharon as a woman, I just plan on to keep striving, conquer my goals, write down even more goals, get closer to God, close as I possibly can, where there's no room for distraction. I feel like a year from now, I'll be helping people and I'll be loving me, truly knowing my worth. So when I do get into a full committed relationship, not only will I know my worth, but I'll know his worth also. I won't be selfish. I won't be stubborn. I will negotiate. I will communicate. And the things that I needed to fix then will be fixed in a year or two from now. I feel like I'll be a better communicator. I'll be open to change. I'll be open to, altering some of my behaviors that I know I display. Because I am headstrong. I am an A-type woman. I am the woman who say, oh no, this is how it's going. So I am gonna be a woman who, be able to allow a man to be a man too. Have some sense of saying, no, it's like this. I think I'll be able to pray for him better than I ever been able to pray, because now I have a better relationship with God. And I'll have more discernment. I have more guidance. I have so much more structure. I think I'm gonna be so much more wiser, because with God you get wisdom. He
Amen.
gives me wisdom. He's giving me favor. He's gonna bless me. I think I'm gonna be more financially able.
Amen.
I just think in a year from now, everything is just gonna work out. I have so much hope for myself, my life, my dreams, my business, my career. I think I got so much that God is gonna do and gonna reveal to me, because I'm trusting him with my life. I'm trusting him with my pain. I'm trusting him with my healing process. I'm trusting him with my kids. I trust him with every aspect of my life. So within this next year, I truly believe with all my heart, God's gonna blow my mind.
Amen.
I do believe that.
Amen. Well, speak it, claim it, and continue to trust God in this process, because uh God can do exceedingly abundantly above all we can imagine and think, right? Nick
Exactly.
Nicole says, I see her really glowing and achieving so much because she has such a strong spirit. This is
Thank you, Nicole.
this is has been a phenomenal episode. We was all over the place, so much stuff going on, but I still believe that this was great content and this was the way it was supposed to happen. Sharon, I want to acknowledge you for just staying the course as far as being a parent, being a mom. I know that has to be tough, challenging, and raising a child with autism. I mean, I get it. And just want to acknowledge you for staying true to your dreams, no matter what comes, and also sticking to your guns and being faithful to your children, to your business, to God. I just wanted to acknowledge you for those things. So continue to stay encouraged and continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
For
Thank
sure, sure. Tell everyone how they can get in touch with you because we've had some people on here. Yeah, let everyone know how they can get in touch with you.
My Instagram is sharing with Sharon. So you guys will see like a little logo, um, sharing with Sharon. But right now, my personal Instagram is TalkNoSho. Talk No Show. He should have it because he tagged me.
Yes.
Talk No Show, sharing with Sharon. My Facebook is all the same also. And you guys can just find me on there, DM me. I am very good at communicating. My TikTok is sharing with Sharon, Talk No Show. All my platform is the same. Talk No Show because I love to talk, but I don't have a show. And Sharing with Sharon is my organization that I run for the autism community.
Love it, love it. Nick Nicole, she stayed with us. She rocked out with us because in today's culture, you know you can't keep people's attention for long. She was on basically the whole show. She said, "This was awesome. Blessings to all." So thank you for joining us, Nick Nicole. Thank you for everyone who was with us on TikTok. If you are watching this via YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, share this with someone because you never know who needs this kind of content. If you are listening to this via podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you leave a rating and review. Would love to hear from you. By doing so, it'll put you in a drawing for a free Amazon gift card. So go ahead and leave those ratings and reviews at Scary to Remarry podcast on Apple Podcasts. Visit the website, scarytoremarry.com. We got some great stuff great stuff there as well. Some content that my wife created is awesome. Excited about everything she's done. This is Sean Heineman with special guest Sharon Cruz.
Sharon.
And we are out.
Thank you.
No problem.